welcome back to Reclaiming Our Lives. And today we have a special guest, and we're just gonna keep talking harm reduction. So I'll take it. Hello, welcome to
Hello.
the couch.
I love being on the couch.
Who are you, and why are you here today with us?
My name is Arielle Butler. I have been involved on both sides of harm reduction, whether it being addicted to drugs for 10 to 12 years of my life, and also working on the other side with you guys as well, as in providing public service to people that are struggling with addiction. And it is so important, and it is an amazing aspect that you guys bring to the table, whether it be just conversation, that homely vibe. If someone hasn't talked to someone in 10 days, they've been locked up in a hotel room getting high for 10 days, and they just encounter you guys for 10 to 15 minutes, and you guys just listen and give a hug and provide them with just that care. And people don't have that, especially right now. And not only do you provide clean needles and clean condoms and Narcan, which is the most amazing thing invented, but just having that stability for someone who is struggling with addiction or mental health is important.
Awesome. So how did you find us?
Word of mouth. Like I said, I was addicted to heroin for 12 years. I started out snorting, and then once I learned how to inject myself, it was hard to get needles, and I just heard through word of mouth Swan. It was called The Place on Swan. I didn't know what the name of it was, what anything was, but they were like, you'll get free needles. You just walk in, and you don't have to say anything. They'll ask you what size you want, and you know they're there if you need them. So I went in there and was like, wow, like this is crazy. Like it just was the most amazing people in there that really cared, and I ended up having an amazing relationship with one of the people there, and this is 12 years ago. And now I go there daily to see you guys, you know. So, and I'm on the other side. I see people come in, and I'm like, I was there. I know, I understand. I know how hard it is, but it's so important to be able to not share needles, not to endanger yourself in any type of way, and that's what you guys provide.
We try to,
Yeah, at least that's what we try to, right?
especially with peers. I did not use needles. So when I walked in the door, I was like, what is this? Like, really? You guys actually hand them out? I smoked. I had 100%, I smoked crack. And I didn't know about harm reduction. Mm-hmm. So as I was being nosy as I started working in the building, trying to figure out like what supplies we had, I found a box and it had these little, to me they were the rubber gaskets that you use on your cars for your spark plugs. That's what they looked like to me.
Right.
And I was like, I asked Robert, I said, what is this? He was like, it's for your crack pipes. I'm like, man, if I would have had these, I wouldn't have false teeth right now.
Right.
Because I ended up cracking my teeth from the crack pipe, either metal, because most of the time it was easier just to grab a tire pressure thing, pop it all out, the guts out of it, and use that, you know. Someday maybe in the state we're going to be able to hand out smoking supplies along with our needles. That would be amazing if the state would allow us to. But it was so different for me to walk in there and see and talk to the people. And I can't lie, like my first few months there, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew I was a peer. I knew I had done my thing. I had walked through the water. I'd come out the other side. And I felt lucky to be there. And then within 6 months, I knew exactly why I was there, because it was when I lost my son. So that gave me the extra to get up and go. I mean, that's actually been recent. About 5 days ago was the 4th anniversary of losing him. And I got the call on Friday. I walked in the office on Tuesday, and Gjvar said, what are you doing here? I said, I can't let another parent get that phone call. So that gave me that extra oomph on it. But you have to talk to people for who they are. We are all someone's child. We are all someone's sister. We are all someone's brother. we all deserve to have that moment of just a moment of, oh my God, I can relate to you. You're not looking down at me. You're not calling me a bad person. You just want to talk to me as a human being. Yes, I want to know what you do. What else do you like to do? Focus on that, because if we can get talking about something else, and I have you talking for a few minutes, I'm giving you a harm reduction because you're holding off on using for that moment.
Exactly.
And that's what people don't understand. You know, if you hold off for a half hour of using, that's harm reduction, because you're going to use less in that day. So that's harm reduction. I do it with my own self today when it comes to using my own, like, you know, I was feeling really down the other day. My harm reduction for that was, you know, instead of having an alcoholic drink, I just sat back and said, no, don't do it today because you're not feeling right. That's harm reduction. We do it every day. We put our seatbelt on every day, don't we?
And we've evolved as an organization, as a program, because I think, you know, 12 years ago when you came, I think we were only 1 day a week.
Yeah.
We were only 1 day a week. The amount of syringes that you could get at a time were
you could only
limited.
get a few. Yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't have the fentanyl testing strips.
No.
We didn't have, I don't even think we
You
had
had
the
Narcan. The Narcan wasn't there.
Yeah.
None of that was there. You could just go in and get needles.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because I think when we first started, you know, we were underground for, I don't even know how many years. I think the organization, Rhonda started in 2006 with the organization, but she was out in, you know, doing
in the field,
yeah, before
giving out
then.
needles.
But 2006 and on, you know, I think the legislation in Baton Rouge changed around like 2013, 2014 or something like that. And, you know, we were able to increase our hours, our days.
Yeah.
Then the Narcan, we partnered with organizations that sent us the Narcan for free. And then, and then we got a better supply of syringes.
Right.
And so now it's like the program looks completely different. So now that you see, you know, where you were a participant, you know, you were one of our guests that utilized our services. So how do you feel now with looking at the program compared to how you first engaged to now?
Like it was so, like you said, underground. Like you would have, like I would call Robert and he would come meet me, or he would come drop them off to me, because the office would be closed. You know, they were underground. Like I remember 2 older black women coming to meet me. You know, like it was so underground, and you couldn't only get to them at certain hours. So I was using, you know, my ex's rig, or I was using, and I did end up getting help, you know, from that. So I look at now how you guys are just open so daily. You guys have a service that goes out and sits and goes to rural areas where they don't have vehicles, where you're not getting out here. You have to ask somebody to drive you there, that they want $10 to get there, you know, that's half your
People
dough.
don't believe it's like that though, because they think of Baton Rouge as a city.
Right.
So they don't realize that there's really rural areas, and that there is places that people still cannot just hop on their car or even hop on that bus and get somewhere. There's a lot of places that people are so rural, they're rural.
Yeah.
They're not even rural anymore.
You know, and then it goes into the equity of providing equitable situations. And just like you said, you know, you're spending money on transportation.
Right.
And that's less money for food, less money for to even
for
supply
you to do
what you're doing.
Exactly. So that was a big change for me to see, and you guys having more people on your staff. You know, more people out there to incorporate and share their story and make it more relatable for people that go in and say, hey, that person kind of looks like me.
That's
you know,
it right there.
That person isn't in, they're not looking at me in any type of way or making me feel any type of way. And I've never felt that, not one time walking in that place. Not one time have I ever felt beneath. And imagine people are going in there asking, can I have needles? Can I, you know, like that's their, you know what I'm coming to do. You know what I'm about to walk out here and do. You know, that's rough. People would say, you go in and get them. You know, I don't want to go in and get them. So just imagine what that is. And it's just difficult. But when you really look at the bigger picture, there's always a bigger picture to everything. And that's what I've seen learning and growing in my addiction and in my sobriety, is that change is inevitable. and being a part of the good side of the change, being a part of where, you know, I don't have to worry about feeling like crap, you know, today. You know, just being on that other side is so amazing, and you guys have been fantastic, and you know, I'm blessed. I am.
So I'll ask you, why did you come back after you entered your own recovery?
I just felt a safety, like I said, once I, because me and my mother argued about that place, CARP, for a long time. She didn't understand. But once I got hepatitis, and once she saw, you know, the people that were in there, once I told her, come inside and meet them, come inside and meet Gjvar, come inside and meet Sonya, come inside and meet Robert, who had picked me up from the dope man's house late at night because I had no ride and I was sick, and brought me home. You know, like people that really reached out and was like there, you know, for me. And it's just, I had to be a part of that. I had to leave my mark somewhere in making this place more accessible and more understanding people that don't have that open-mindedness in them. Just letting them understand, hey, I was, you know, there. I didn't agree, you know, at one time my family didn't agree, but now look, you can just look at two perspectives and just open your mind to different things. And that's what I want to be a part of. And you guys have obviously are doing a great job at that. Like I said, in the past 10 years, you guys have evolved to so many more fantastic and amazing things that I already knew you guys were capable of. But now the community is seeing it. Now the world is seeing it, and it's in need right now. So
and you're telling your story helps to end the stigma around it.
Right,
it
exactly.
Really, like, we have to normalize so many things in life, and being able to ask for help, for one, has to be normalized. Not being afraid of asking for any kind of help, mental help, physical help, and yeah, you like sitting here when I was listening to Arielle, just it gives you chills, because our stories really will save somebody else's lives. And to have the opportunity to be a part of that, and to hear Arielle like to just be like, your reasons, you know. If I was Robert, I'd feel so good about myself. I do, because I've helped people on my own. But it's to see it in real life and to hear it is going to help.
It's different when it comes back and it boomerangs, because
Right.
so
100%.
often, you know, as peers in this field and in these spaces, we help without even thought.
No,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah.
And then so we don't require any exchange for anything. And so when it comes around, like when you came back and, you know, and told us how, you know, we meant to you and how we helped you, I think that really sparked this whole idea of this format of, we need to tell our story, you know, because as an organization, we have a story too. As peers, we have stories too. As participants, we have stories. And so how they all marry each other, how they all intersect is so vital to changing the stigma, ending the stigma related to what harm reduction is. Because the misconception is we just keep trying to get people
Drug
to,
addicts.
we're feeding the frenzy.
Right.
And in a way, yes, we're feeding the frenzy, but
Feeding it in helpful ways.
we're feeding it in impactful ways.
Yes.
Because no matter what, people are still going to do what they want to do, how they want to do it. And so our goal is for you to be safe. And that's how the name of the program just happened, because we didn't know what to call it. We just was like, you be safe.
Right.
You be safe. And so that's the tagline, be safe. But for us to find that good safety point for us, for ourselves, I think that's the most beneficial thing. And so it shouldn't be, you know, the narrative of us trying to just pull everybody into treatment programs or therapy and all of this other stuff. Sometimes we just have to work it out ourselves. And so to have an organization like this to really be honest and say, hey, look, ain't nothing wrong with you. Ain't nothing
Right.
wrong with your mind. Now let's condition of where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? How do you feel about yourself? And let's address those issues, because by doing that, you fix the back end without even knowing.
Right.
You have no idea what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's what I've been doing all this time? And I feel better? You know, and you don't even realize it's coming. I mean, I utilize every day because I utilize marijuana as my pain management. Every day I utilize it. And if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be functioning.
Correct.
And I'd probably be looking for other resources.
And so for somebody that does not know who you are in your situation, like we don't know everybody's life history.
Oh, I'm just a pothead.
From the outside looking in, you can say that's why we shouldn't have marijuana on the street. They shouldn't legalize it, or they shouldn't that. But for you, it's very intentional to end or solve an issue that you're going through. And so we just can't blanket statement everybody and clump everybody into these boxes, So we got to step outside the box and say it's individuals. Like, okay, now if you are an abuser of drugs, that's a whole different conversation.
Yes.
And so how do we get you to even consideration of anything? That's harm reduction. It's for us to help you consider other options or other ways or other pathways.
And safe consumption.
And so, that's what I love about this. But for folks to come back around afterwards, I think that says more than anything that we're doing.
I agree.
That it just speaks so.
Makes me feel like I'm doing what I should be doing because it's working.
Correct.
So how do you all unwind? How do you all take time? We talked off camera about what's going to happen for 2 weeks.
He's gonna steal my laptop from me, is what he's probably
How is that going to happen? How do you unwind for 2 weeks from where you put your life for this whole year?
For me, I have to unplug completely, because I say this all the time. It's a common saying. As peers, we don't get to turn off. We live this lifestyle. We live in these environments that we use in, that we work in, and so it's all intertwined, interconnected. And so I have to completely unplug the refrigerator and just allow everything to rest. You know what I mean? It's like I cannot be burdened by assisting anyone. I can't be burdened by anything work related, so that I can decompress, so that I can rebuild my system back up, so I can build, so I can continue to be resilient. I can continue to be innovative. I can continue to reach out to the masses. So I have to take that time just to say no work, no nothing. I just need to do what I feel that I want to do as a human being. And so if that's just sleep, if that's just walking, going out with friends and family, just something that is about me, because oftentimes throughout the year, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. It's about the service. And so for me, I just have to unplug.
So for me, I'm actually going to spend that couple of weeks going through the stuff at my house that I haven't had a chance to because I'm always working. To me, that's going to be de-stressing because it's going to have my craft room set up so I can start painting again. Something I haven't done in a long time, and that's how I unwind. Sorry guys, I'm supposed to clock out from work. But that's what I'm planning on doing. I was given a gift by one of my kiddos that I work with at the restaurant, and they actually said, "Ma, I don't know anybody else that needs this more," and they handed me a cruise, a 4-day cruise to the Bahamas that they had won. And they gave it to me the other day. And so I'm going to use that. And I'm definitely going to utilize that. So that's not for a few months, but that is going to be some downtime. And this is a person that we actually helped also through the syringe. And it wasn't for a person using, it was a person trying to transition and be who they want to be. So, doing the work we do does not only affect people who are using drugs, but it can affect other people. We help diabetics. We make sure that diabetics have access to sharps containers. So for people to just automatically go to the fact that we only are helping people use, no, we're not. We're helping people survive. We're helping people live. And it's not just about drugs. Y'all, they all just get it crazy because it's just not about drugs. It really isn't. It's about being family. It's about loving each other. And taking that 2 weeks, you know, it's definitely gonna be a hard thing for me to do, to take 2 weeks. But I know I do need to do it for myself to just unwind. So I'm gonna be replanting some plants and just getting my space ready so I can actually start painting again.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how to stop.
Yeah, my one child that lives in the house, I was like, I relax all the time. Ma, you don't ever stop.
No.
If you're watching something on TV, you are looking at an email.
And I tell her all the time, it's all about balance, you know? And so we have to find our balance.
Right. I'm getting there.
And so if we're imbalanced, you know, you kind of always stay imbalanced. And so it's like nothing ever works, nothing ever clicks. And so we have to take time to recenter ourselves, to find stable footing and just say, hey, look, now I can continue to work through my problems and my issues. Now I can continue to work on me and refueling. And so that's, you know, and I have to make sure that I do that as a leader of everyone to say,
Lead by example.
I see, yes, you have to lead by example. And so it's like, look, for me, my mental is shot right now. I have gone through so much this year mentally that if I've gone through it and we've all worked in the same environment, everybody else should be, you know, and when you observe folks, you understand that some people are struggling right now. You know, just personal stuff and work stuff. And so, yes, we got to shut down.
So final messages for those this holiday season as we wind down and get ready to start a new year. I'm going to go to each one of you and look in the camera as if you're talking to your loved ones or friends. And what advice would y'all like to give to them? I'm going to start over here with you, Sonya.
I guess I'd say my message to anyone out there right now struggling, remember you are not alone. We are only a phone call away. We do have our website, and some of you may not have access to that. Again, we're a phone call away. 716-238-3555. There's someone that will come around and help you when you need it. Just remember, you are not alone. There's always going to be somebody there for you, and we love you.
I'm going to go to Arielle and then come back to Gjvar.
I would say my main 3 P's that I like to say: people, places, and positions. This holiday season, going into the new year, whether it be family, if they're not good for your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, stay away from them. Relationships, people that you think are the best for you, if you have an ounce of thinking that going into the new year that they are not the best for you, move along. There is so much better to look forward to and to be grateful for, and stay away from people that don't have your best interests in heart.
Love it.
I would tell you to listen to yourself so that you can learn yourself, thus loving yourself. And I think without those 3 L's, you know, our life is not lived to the highest quality that we could live. And so by just listening to your gut instincts, trusting your gut instincts, learning to be with yourself, by yourself, and loving who you are, what you are, and your contributions to this world are uniquely yours. And so live authentically, true to yourself, never bending, never yielding, and just live for you and not the naysayers. And that's all I have to say to that.